Hi everybody! Today I want to celebrate the end of the school year with a little garden tea party. I'm going to show you 2 ways to make tea and set up for a little tea celebration. All of the tea ingredients came from my backyard, but you could find them on a walk or something like that. Just make sure that you have permission to take the plants from whoever's land it is and that you're harvesting safely. The first type of tea we're going to make is raspberry leaf tea. We're going to make this one a hot tea. So you can use the leaves from the raspberry plant just like you eat the berries, but you can put them in a tea. And it's really great for boosting your immune system. So I went and harvested a couple handfuls of raspberry leaves from my backyard, and I used 2 hands when I was picking them to make sure that I wasn't going to hurt the plant or hurt myself. And I only took 1 or 2 leaves from each plant to make sure that I wasn't damaging the plant. So I've got my plate full of raspberry leaves here. And then I have a tea kettle. You might not have one. You could put this in a jar if you wanted to. And I'm just going to rip my leaves up a little bit and put them in my strainer. If you didn't have this, you could use a coffee filter, or you could use, you could just strain them out. You could even just eat the leaves. They're fine to eat as well. So I'm just going to rip mine up, and then I'm going to pour some hot water on it. And I like to make sure that I pour it enough that my leaves are going to stay wet, because they're going to do something called steep. That means that the leaves are releasing some of their flavor into the water, and then my water will change colors, and that's what makes tea. So the second type of tea that I want to make would be better for a really hot day, and it's called sun tea. You could make the raspberry leaf tea with sun tea as well. It would be more like an iced tea. Or you could make the other tea that I'm about to make as a hot tea, whichever you'd like. So for my sun tea, the first thing I'm going to need to do is harvest about a cup of herbs. I have some mint and lavender growing right behind me, and I'm going to harvest those. Again, I'm going to harvest with 2 hands, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm only taking a little bit from each plant so that I don't hurt the plant, and make sure that I can have tea throughout the whole summer. All right, I'm going to go harvest a little bit of lavender and a little bit of mint. All right, so I'm back with my lavender and my mint. And we can think of herbs and lots of foods as medicine for us. So when I make this tea, I like to think of my mint and my lavender as different types of medicines for me. And the lavender oftentimes helps me relax and helps me fall asleep a little bit better. And mint can help if you have an upset stomach. So this would be a great tea to have right before bed. So I'm going to put my herbs into my jar, and I want about a cup total. The mint leaves you could leave whole, or you can rip in half. And when I rip that, it's just helping the juices from inside the leaves make sure that they can get to my water. So I'm going to keep doing that. Now, if you didn't have any of these herbs available at your garden or anyone that you know, you can do this with tea bags too. You can make a hot tea with tea bags. You can buy mint, or you can buy raspberry leaf tea in tea bags, or loose leaf tea. Or you can make the sun tea also. You might just want to put 1 or 2 tea bags in with this amount of water. So I'm going to finish putting my lavender and my mint in. And now for my sun tea, I'm going to pour cold water in. So I'm going to let the sun heat it up for me. And steep. Again, that's letting all of those flavors from my leaves go into the water. So now I'll put my cap on, and I'm going to leave my sun tea for 3 to 5 hours in a sunny spot. And hopefully by then, my tea will have changed colors and I'll be able to drink it. It'll have a nice minty and lavender flavor. My raspberry leaf tea, the hot one, is still steeping, so I'm going to make a little bouquet to make my tea table look a little bit nicer here. So I went and harvested some irises from my garden. Again, this is the time to make sure that you have permission to harvest before you do so. So I'll put my sun tea over here, my raspberry leaf tea, and then I've got my irises. Some of the flowers are not looking as good, so I might take those off. And I'm going to put them all in water. So this is another way we can use our garden to enjoy, even if we can't use all of it for food. So I'm going to cut them off and put them in water. It'll last a little bit longer if you don't put the leaves in the water. So I'm going to make sure that I cut all of my leaves or pull them off if they'll be in the way. These irises, when I smelled them, smell a lot like lemons, which I thought was a pretty fun smell to have at my tea party. All right, so my bouquet is done. My sun tea is steeping, and my raspberry leaf, my hot tea, has been steeping for about 10 minutes, which means that it's time for me to have some tea. Tea parties are best done with friends, but maybe we can all have our individual tea parties right now, and then when it's safe for us to all get together, we can have another one. So I'm gonna get my cup, and if it's the hot tea, I maybe have an adult help you pour this one. But pour yourself a cup of tea. Maybe if you're a little nervous about it, just start with a small cup. But if you think you're feeling like a brave taster and you're gonna enjoy it, you can take a whole cup of tea. And then I like to think when I'm having tea of something that went really well in my day, or something that I'm grateful for, something that I'm happy about. And so today, I'm grateful for the flowers that are in my garden that I can make a beautiful bouquet with. And I'm thankful for the herbs and all of the friends that I don't get to see right now in person, but I'll get to see them soon. All right, let's take a sip. My raspberry leaf tea has a slight fruity taste, not too sweet though, just a light hint of that raspberry flavor that I know when I bite into the juicy berry. It's another way for me to enjoy tea and the raspberry flavors all year round. All right, I'll check back in with my sun tea in a couple hours and then I'll let you know. Ready? So it's the next day. It rained last night, so I brought my sun tea inside and I actually put it in the refrigerator, so I will have some iced sun tea. You could also drink it just after taking it out of the sunny spot and pour it directly into your cup. So I'm going to do, now that my sun tea has been sitting for almost 24 hours, I'm hoping that it has a really fresh flavor and it'll be refreshing because it's a pretty warm day out. I can smell the mint and lavender already that I put into my jug. And then I've got a cup with a strainer, again a coffee filter or anything with working with that, or I could honestly just take a sip. Or maybe you pour it into a different glass so that I could share with somebody. I'm just going to pour my sun tea out. And mine isn't very colored. Maybe if you put different herbs or things in it, your sun tea will be a different color. Or if you use those tea bags like I was talking about. And then I have tea or flavored water from my garden. A nice cool drink that I can drink on this hot day. It's not too flavorful, but that's kind of how I like it. I hope you make either some hot tea or sun tea and have a little garden party this week. Have a good one.